at it and go like, that's not amazing. That's terrible. You know, like so.
There's a lot of videos like that too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, we just started.
So anyway, this is what I use with
Blue frog tape.
with the blue contractors frog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's an older one. that
Nice.
I've got.
What do you think about frog tape? Is it really
Frog
one of its
tape?
kind?
Okay, I'll tell you what I know about frog tape. I've used it for years and years and years. I have the green, I have the yellow, I have the blue, I have the orange.
Mm-hmm. Orange.
The orange is an all-purpose, but it doesn't have the sealing factor of frog tape.
Okay.
Do you know what frog tape
Like
does?
those paint repellent?
Yeah, what it is it's the technology on the edge of the tape is so when it gets wet it swells, and that's what seals.
Seals it.
So the yellow is very delicate and it's very, very thin.
Right.
So when you do a white ceiling and you do a dark wall, if you're cutting at the joint of the wall and the ceiling,
Yes.
they're not always perfect.
No, they're not.
So what I like to do, especially in that combination, when you have a dark wall and a light ceiling, you have to have a perfect line. So what I do is after I've done painting the wall up to that corner, which is imperfect, I take my yellow frog tape and I drop it down like that 1/8 of an inch below
The actual corner.
the actual corner, and then I get that perfect line, and then I put in ceiling paint.
So you're actually bleeding into the wall a bit to make the straight
Yes.
line.
And then you'll see that nice perfect line,
yeah, I
and
always wondered.
it looks professional.
Ah.
And I had a job where I had a very fussy customer in Font Hill, and they really demanded that perfect line. I said, I don't know how to do that. So I had searched the internet and I couldn't figure it out. But what a lot of contractors do when they do whole house painting, like from scratch, the last thing they do is spray the ceiling. So they'll put on that tape with a tape machine, and
Plastic.
they'll do the walls, and then they spray the ceiling. So they drop that tape down with the tape at the top,
Right.
and then they basically
Spray the ceiling.
spray the ceiling, pull the tape, and they got that perfect line going all the way around, right?
Yes.
So, but this thing I use mostly for baseboard, and I use the Blue Frog because it does have that technology in the tape. Now this is a 3M product,
Right.
it probably is not, but it comes apart. It comes apart very easily, and
Add another tape.
see, this is 3M tape, so this is not the tape I would use for doing baseboards, but it goes together, and it's got felt here, so when you're running it on the baseboard, it slides really
I
nice.
see. It doesn't
And
leave
this
marks.
wheel is got a little bit of a tilt there, so as you're holding it, like you don't hold,
Pressing down the edge.
it presses the edge down. Now I would
nice.
still take a tool and make sure, or even your fingers, and press it down to that baseboard so that you have a very good seal there, and then later you'll come back, or when you remove it, then it'll be pretty clean. Sometimes you still have a little place where it didn't stick, but if you're using like Scuff-X or something for your trim, it's a good solid paint and it will stick. And you don't even, I can do this within a day afterwards, sometimes even the same day. I've put tape on fresh paint. So sometimes you can get away with it, but this thing is just, it's the bomb.
That's nice.
And they're inexpensive. They're $15.
Wow.
So anyway,
Nice. Thank you very much.
so
I could use it.
yeah, so this is, go ahead.
Thank you.
So I want to show you a couple of other things that I do different. This is
Worcester.
a Worcester product, and I like the Worcester
Extendable.
poles.
Okay.
You can use all kinds of different poles, but Purdy's are garbage. Pretty much everything Purdy isn't very good.
How about Richard?
Richard is a little bit better.
Is it better?
Yeah. they've put a little more thought into it. But this is
Worcester.
now these are the basic poles, and I've converted them to the daggers on the ends. So I've put a little bit of. They were getting a little sloppy, so I just put some. But what happens is you snap in.
On.
Now it doesn't turn
spin.
off.
Oh, I
and
hated that. Yes.
So, and I have the 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 6 to 12,
all kind of length.
and 8 to 16.
8 to 16.
So that's a long pole.
Yes.
But it's beautiful because it's also like that, right? It's
Yeah.
quick, it's fast. Now,
Nice.
something about painting walls that people don't realize. You paint, like if you're going this direction, this side has to face that direction. Because this is the softer side that you push on. If you push on this, you're going to put most pressure here, less pressure here. So you want this side to kind of be the last thing that you're doing. So you're rolling. You're always going this direction with your roller.
Right.
You don't want to go this direction because then the softer part. But one of the things that guys do, and my dad was notorious for this, he would try and get as much paint out of that roller at every shot.
Was he also a painter?
No.
Oh.
No. And I have other friends who do the same thing, and they're Dutch, and they think that this is an efficient way to do things. But what you do is you dip, you roll, and then you put one layer
Thick.
on. You go dip, you do the next one.
Oh.
You don't try and go real wide with 3 or 4 like 3 or 4 widths of the roller. You just put it on as thick as you can, especially the first coat. The second coat you can go a little more conservatively, but the first coat you want to get it on good and heavy because you want it to seal, and then the second coat you want to even things out.
Okay.
Now, after you roll your first coat, you go, let's say, 10 feet of wall, you come back and you back roll. You come down in the same direction. You don't go up and down. You go down, 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 or up, 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 but I would generally go down, down, down. And then you basically even out the paint. So you might go 4, 5, 6 widths of the roller, and then you come back over it, and that's called back rolling. So that helps to even it out so you don't get those heavy places and light places. But again, if you put on a good solid coat to start with, you're at a great advantage. But anyway, so I use the Worcesters. The Worcesters are also their technology is great. And I'll explain another beauty thing about Worcester.
That's thick.
They catch right here. When you release this thing, you hit it on a pail and it snaps loose.
Right.
Like this. You hit it and it comes loose. You don't have to grab it and pull it off. If you buy those ones with the wires, you have to pull it off like this. Whereas with this, you just hit it on the edge of a pail and it pops loose, and now it's good to go, right? So that's why I like the Worcesters. You can buy them when they're on sale. They're better than the Barracudas, which have the red handles. They're made in China. I tried them and they're okay, but they're not as good as the Worcesters.
Where do you get them from?
I get them at Dulux.
Dulux, okay.
And I talked to Todd, and he knows you.
Yes.
And he says he's not buying enough stuff at Dulux. I said, well, I'll talk to him.
Yes.
So,
there you go.
But yeah, seriously, I mean, you just do this and it comes off. You see, I don't have to. Oh, here's a Barracuda.
Similar.
And they're very similar. I mean, it's the patent ran out, so they were able to
copy it.
You know, you can copy it, but
yes.
you know, when these come on sale, buy them.
Okay.
Buy the original, and also pre-wet your rollers before you start dipping with water.
With water.
So I soak them really good. I squeeze them out, and then I spin them off on a wall. I usually go outside, you know, make sure there's no dirty paint in there that you leave it on the brick, and then now you got another problem, right? But So here are two of the covers that I use, and I use the microfiber from Dulux. This is a 15 mil.
15.
And here's an 18 mil. That
Oh,
holds
that's
a lot of paint.
thicker. Yes.
But the advantage of using, well, the microfibers I like for the texture. They hold a lot of paint, but the more paint you can put on your roller, the further you can go on the wall. Right. So if you've got a very thin roller, these are also but if you have like a woven cover like that, doesn't hold as much paint.
I see. I had some painters telling me that microfiber is harder to deal with, the textures.
There's a lot of differences of opinion. I think you have to make your own decision on that. You know, some people like these. I know that the owner of all the Benjamin Moore stores in St. Catharines.
St. Catharines.
Oh, it's bothering me.
Is that where we met? No, that was
no, not at that store. That's an independent. All the Benjamin Moore stores are independently owned, and they can bring in any product they want. Whereas the Dulux and the Sherwin-Williams are corporate stores, and they're very limited as they can't do custom stuff generally. They do have some unique products. If you're going to buy caulking, I would only buy from Dulux, for example, and the reason is that I use three different caulkings that they have. The 250 is real fast set. It's like the Alex Plus, but it's better. They have something called Flex, which is it shrinks a little bit more. The 250 is the most stable. You can paint over it in 15 minutes, and it's it's very solid. It shrinks the least, but you have to tool it very quickly, and then tool it with a damp rag or a wet finger or something like that, and then you have a chance of it looking good. Otherwise, the problem with that it looks grainy.
Okay. Texture.
So then the next one I use is Flex, and it's a little smoother, and it has more stretch and flex. And then the final one, that if I want to do a really nice job, like on top of a bathroom sink, like a post-form countertop or something like that, I use what's called 400, Top Gun 400.
I've tried that, yes.
And that stuff, it stretches like silicone, and you can paint it. So that's the beauty of that. You can paint it, whereas the other stuff you can't. You know, like silicone, it's awful when people use silicone on bathrooms. So anyway, these are the covers that I generally like to use. But again, if you find that you have another preference, I don't have any problem with these. There are different qualities. These are some of the nicest ones, and these are Sims. They have a beautiful layoff. You can feel how smooth the surface is.
Microfiber.
So they hold a lot, but they also lay off smoother than anything else that I've ever tried. And these I got at Lowe's, I think. Lowe's or Rona.
No, they're all Rona. Yes.
Yeah. So when I'm looking for a real fine finish, I'll use that particular one. So
fine finish, as in, well, where would you
like a
need
smoother finish.
Would you paint the door with that?
I usually use a mini roller for doors.
Okay.
And again, if you put it on heavy enough, it will lay out. It'll flatten. I can do a door in like a door side in 5 minutes, like a one of those 6-panel doors.
Right.
You know, the one that has
chocolate
the
bars
cross in the Bible.
Yes.
Are you familiar with
cross
that?
in the Bible? Okay.
Well, when you look at it,
yes,
the top is a Bible.
Yeah.
And the bottom, like the big piece, is a cross. So somebody said it's a cross in a Bible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I use these mini rollers, and I use and I get these from Dulux as well. They're not made by Dulux here in Bennett.
Microfiber.
And
I see.
And I throw them out generally at the end. I think this one I don't think I've cleaned this one.
Excuse me.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I see your roll.
Pardon?
I saw your two. I just live next block,
Okay.
and I'm thinking
You need painting done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are
I see
you?
this guy working here.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm just
process.
getting a lot of advices from the professional painter.
He,
Yes.
he builds it. I make it look good.
Yeah.
I said a little paint, a little caulk, a
Can
little paint
paint.
makes a painter what he's not.
Oh. Caulk
Think
and
about
paint.
that. A little paint, or a caulk, a little paint. So if you do a little bit of caulking, a little bit
Right.
of painting, makes the carpenter
What he
he's
ain't.
not.
Right.
What
What
his
he-
Caulk
ain't,
and
what
paint
he ain't.
makes
A
a
little-
carpenter
little-
what he ain't.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a you
Yeah.
know, it's kind of
It's
a,
very true nowadays. They're all white trim.
yeah, but you know, everybody's got their specialties, right? And you get better at doing one thing when you do just one thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not an insult.
Mhm.
You know, I see the flaws that the trade that's before me, like the drywaller. You know, I see his flaws, but I also learn how to fix the drywaller's
Mhm.
flaws, because otherwise, you know,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
my
good.
job doesn't look good. So I saw you had that spackling,
Yes.
and it's the
That's actually the first time in 5 years that I'm getting back to, because I went to Rona. They didn't have Dynamax, Dynapatch.
okay, because
Yeah, I always use Dynapatch.
Okay.
It's the best thing.
Yeah,
The
and
only thing I use.
I put some pink chalk line
In it?
color in it,
Ah,
so that when I'm doing my trim and I'm filling nail holes, that I always will see them.
right.
Because if you put white on white, then you get to painting, and all of a sudden you go like, oh man, I forgot to sand that one, right?
Yes.
So I
It
always put a
happens.
little bit of
Glue or
like a
something,
chalk
dye.
line chalk in there, not the permanent stuff.
No, the red
get
one will bleed.
So I don't want to interrupt you guys. if
You want a card?
if you have availability.
Let me
when the
just give you a
next,
business card and you can call me.
when you gonna be available, more or less?
Depending on how big the job is, right?
Here? Huh?
Huh?
Oh, mine.
No,
Yes.
I'm separate from.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So you are independent. This
Yes.
is your company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how many of you you work by
I'm
yourself,
it.
or you have
I'm
one-
it.
only you?
Yeah.
Huh?
He's the guy.
One man show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big is your painting work? Is it the whole house?
I have 4 rooms on the ups. 4 rooms,
Yeah.
which I paint myself. I put the gray.
Uh-huh.
It's very bad.
Not a good
workmanship.
job.
So I need to redo 4
Mhm.
rooms.
Yeah.
And in the bottom, in the main floor, it's touch up, but
Yeah, I'll take a look.
there are some panels we need to do, so
Yeah.
some work. So yeah, when do you think you can come have a look?
We won't be here all day, so you could probably.
Well, I could come today.
Yeah.
Like after I'm
Soon.
done here.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll be home most of the day.
Have you
So-
got a cell phone?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
text me and your name and address, and then I'll get in touch with you as soon as I'm done here.
Sounds good. I'll do it. You guys can keep
Perfect.
going. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a nice neighborhood for sure.
Anyway, so that's my roller tutorial.
Nice.
Rob.
Yep.
Okay.
That's me.
Rob, painter.
So, and these are
Worcester.
Worcester, but I'm not crazy about these. I
Okay.
used them initially,
Mm-hmm. Seems tight.
but they're okay. You know, they're okay. But again, they fit with the
Oh, the lock.
with the locking. But they make adapters to go into regular handles. So if I use that little,
It's a regular handle, and then you put the
if I
adapter.
use this one, I have an adapter I can put in
Fit.
there that will allow me to click in.
But does it still hold, like, from
Well,
spinning?
This could spin.
Right.
But if you really want to make it solid, you put a screw through there.
Right. Okay. Make it permanent.
Well, you can take the screw out.
Or
later,
just get
right?
the roller. Worcester roller.
Yeah. So anyway, but I would really. Now what I did with these was they come with the screw end on here.
You just took it
So
out.
I take this off. They have an adapter. They have this as a separate part, and you can see it's just held in with the screw. So I put these dagger ones on.
There.
this. And I like these because they don't have the adapter in the end of the pole. If you buy the ones that are convertible,
Yes.
they have that thing, and then you're holding it,
Bumps
and
it.
it doesn't
Yeah.
feel nice. So that's why
Good. Your name?
Kim. Nice to
I'm
meet you,
Flavio.
sir.
Flavio.
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 Nice to meet you,
Flavio.
sir.
Nice to meet you.
Flavio.
So yeah, send me your information, and
Yeah,
then,
just,
I'll swing by.
on the left hand here, you know, the red gates, red doors, the garage
Okay.
door. All right,
Good deal.
the only red ones. Okay,
Okay,
man.
see you later.
So, a couple of other things.
Yes.
Now, if you've got quite a bit of painting to do, go with an 18. This is also a Worcester. It snaps
Nice.
in,
It gets really
and
small.
it does a more beautiful job than, here. They sell these at
Home Depot. I think I saw it.
at Dulux as well.
Dulux. Okay.
This is a 13 mil. I like a bigger one, but this still works pretty darn good, and it's fast, right? So you stick it in here, right? Both ends. And I modify almost all my tools, not my drills, but Milwaukee makes good products. So I put longer carriage bolts in there,
Yes.
and stainless. And then these wing nuts are smaller originally, so I put a bigger wing nut on, and I put a little lock washer in there, and that way when you tighten it up, it stays,
really tighten it.
right? So now I've got an 18-inch. Boom! I'm ready to go.
Nice.
And so there are different 18-inch tray systems. Now this is one that I
dolly
made
for it.
myself. And I just made this out of 2x4, obviously. You ever use these?
Stand? No.
They sell them at Dulux. They sell them a lot of places. And this is made, I think it's Richard. No, Sims.
Sims.
And so I notched this out.
Aha. A little groove for it.
Now I've got my 18 ready to go, right? And I'm dipping. Don't buy one of those buckets where you have to go in like this. For ergonomics, you want to be able to go like this, right? And then you're up on the wall. But the beauty of this thing is you're like that.
Stand.
So if you use this with a regular tray, and I use just the Sims trays because again they
Liners.
carry enough, and they have liners, and if you buy enough of them all at once,
I left those liners in car
Pardon?
and they all melted. Those liners,
yeah,
like 2 summers before, I left them in my back of my car
yeah,
and they all melted.
really.
Yes.
Well, it must have got hot in there.
Yeah, I guess.
So anyway, what I've done with this is I put a screw here so that I can hang a brush.
Ah, okay.
So when I'm working, I have a brush and I have
Nice.
my roller, and then that way I hang a brush. Where's the brush laying here? This is a brush, and these are the brushes that I use. So I just stick that on here like that, and now it hangs above the tray. So
Is that also Worcester?
No, and I'll tell you about the brushes too, because these will change your life. But
Oval ones.
yeah.
I love the oval.
So again, this works on the Sims tray,
Okay.
and you never end up bending over to pick up your tray. You just move your tray like this. Right? Now, I've also done it where I've taken this tray, because I use a liner, and I put it on a little dolly, like a little cart that I buy at Princess Auto, a little
Caster.
MDF with 4 wheels on there, and I screw the tray to the dolly, and then just put the liner in there. Now it rolls, right?
Yep.
So, but this is so handy because I never have to pick up my tray, and it's secure,
Especially with the paint.
and I have my roller. This is my most versatile pole because you know, for 8-foot ceilings it works really well.
Best height.
But if I'm doing all 8-foot ceilings, I prefer a more solid pole. So the 4-foot.
4 foot. Is that 2 to 4?
This is 2 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So there goes 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6.
4 to 6. So you
6
have
to
all the ranges.
12, yeah. And I've got them all because I use them all. But again, this is so handy. You know, you walk around, you know, and then you don't knock it over as quickly. You don't trip on it as quick.
Right.
So
Nice.
anyway, but this is something I made. I buy these trays. These are the trays, and then they have liners. I bought these at Home Hardware. They sell different ones at Dulux. You know. So anyway.
Nice.
So the last thing. Oh.
Whoa. Okay.
You ever use these?
Mixer.
This is the best
Paddle.
mixer they make. This is also, I think, a Richard product. You can buy these at Sherwin sells them.
I saw them at Rona.
And at Rona, and they also sell them at Home Depot.
Home Depot. Okay.
And they're like $10 or something like that. I put a little notch in so they hook in
for impact?
on my
Drill.
impact or my
Really?
drill. I just grind it out here so that I can
And it
snap
works?
it into my Milwaukee. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I never knew
Yeah,
that.
it snaps in then, right?
Uh-huh.
So you just notch it out. You look at your
right
your
length.
bits.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I bought a bit. I buy these from Richelieu. Are you familiar with Richelieu?
No.
They sell hardware for cabinets and stuff like that.
Okay.
And if you get a commercial contract, they'll ship it to you, and then you can cabinet door hinges and all the they have. It's an amazing place.
Richelieu.
I'll send you the link for that.
Okay.
But this is a magnetic bit.
I love that. It's nice.
So it's really cool because you know you have a screw and you put your screw on there and you just go for it,
then
right?
it drops. Yeah.
So, but you just match that as best you can. I do. You don't have to. I mean, if you put it in a regular chuck bit, but sometimes I have my impacts, you know. So then, and with the Milwaukee, it just snaps in, right? Whereas if I have my Makita, then I have to pull the collar back and put it in, but I can still use it either way, you know. So
Okay. Is that to mix the paint before you use?
Yeah. And matter of fact, if you have this on high speed in a gallon, it's gonna explode. It is so efficient.
Okay.
And it gets into the bottom of the can. Now, when I modify these for a 1 gallon can, this is like what I use in a 5-er. But on a 1 gallon, I cut an inch off the long ones just to make it a little bit more relaxed, because otherwise that thing just takes off and yeah.
So you can use that for both 5 and 1 gallon.
Yes, but on the 5-ers you can push it through the hole, the bung hole.
Oh, so you don't even have to open the lid.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you go right to the bottom, and because it's flexible, it gets right in the bottom too. So
cool.
my friend Nick, who does kitchen cabinets, he's got I think 5 or 6 of these things. So, and then I rinse them out right away, back and forth, and swish them in a pail of water right after I use them, so they can stay.
How often do you have to mix your pail?
Oh, usually once a day.
Once a day.
You know,
beginning
but
of the day?
depending on the paint, there are some paints that you gotta kind of be very careful with. Like I just did it's a product called Breakthrough, and some of these products they tend to separate. Sometimes the pigments will come to the top, sometimes they go to the bottom, depending on what the pigment is. So but I would say, you know, once a day, and then sometimes I don't even on the second day. I don't even worry about it. If it's a thicker paint, it'll generally stay in suspension, so it's not a problem. But as far as brushes, and I just found out, and I buy a product from a company in Toronto called ColorX. And are you familiar with ColorX?
No,
They're a
I never
painting company. They have like 4 stores in Toronto.
Wow.
They have the best sprayer mechanic in Ontario, as far as I'm concerned, for Graco and stuff
Okay.
like that. So if you ever need a repair, I could probably do it myself, because I've got like many sprayers. So
I got a Graco X17
Yeah.
Pro. So
yeah, that's a little guy.
they said you need to change that pump. I bought that just so I can change that pump
Okay.
when it breaks down.
Yeah, no, I have a 390 and a 490. I've rebuilt the pumps. I actually take the pump apart and put all new packings in and all that kind of stuff. So if you get a heavier machine like that, I have a friend who has a 490. He's been running it for 5 years straight, and he does a lot of spraying. Never changed
Really?
the pump. So, you know,
That's worth it.
sometimes you can buy them online. You find them on Marketplace. Somebody's
Yes.
quitting their painting business, and they have, or sometimes you see a new one. I bought a Graco, a 695, which is, it stands this high, you know, and it's like a 2-horse motor, so it's huge,
Strong.
and it will really move product and fast. And I need it for some of the. I use an intumescent paint, which is a fireproof paint. And if you look in the can, it's an oil-based paint, but it looks like drywall mud. It's that thick. So it needs a bigger pump to pull it up
Right.
the tube, right?
The viscosity.
So yeah, it's very viscous, and so I needed that pump, but that's like a $5,000 sprayer.
Okay.
But I have a small one I bought at a pawn shop, and it was almost brand new for $300, and it's a 390, which is considerably bigger yet than what you have. So, and then I have hoppers on them, so that I can pour the paint in the top, and it goes right into the pump.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like yours, you have a hopper on yours, I think.
I just dipped the.
Oh yeah. You got
insert
you got an
input.
uptake tube on yours too.
Yes.
So, but anyway, this is a Proform. It's called a Blaze.
Proform Blaze.
And what's interesting about these brushes? One sec.
Sure.